Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Coffee with Carlson. We are glad you're here. I'm excited to have you on board. I think we're live. It says I've been live for 30 seconds. I'm not sure if that's accurate, but I'm recording it anyway, just in case. Hope you had a great weekend. We did. If you didn't get a chance this weekend to head down to downtown Sebring, right at the intersection of Lakeview, Ridgewood, Franklin, where all those meet. There used to be Barnett Bank parking lot there. If you haven't been there to the farmers market, this past weekend was an amazing first weekend. Friday and Saturday, I believe it's 9 to noon. If I'm not correct, Dan, please correct me. There were 5 or 6 vendors there, including one of my favorites, Strangely Warmed Coffee. We rode our bikes up there. We were able to get a fresh brewed cup of coffee. We were able to get some fresh baked bread. We were able to get some fresh baked pastry, some cookies. We got them for Jet, but I have to admit that I pretty much ate those. Good morning, Mrs. Swain. Hope you're doing well. We also picked up some fresh local beef from a farm in Hardy County. They were set up there with a trailer. There were fresh vegetables, squash, all kinds of things. I want to be very clear. This is the first weekend. I'm a big supporter of this. Dan Andrews has done a fantastic job putting this thing together and putting it on. Farmers markets don't start out with a million vendors and fresh guacamole and all kinds of other crazy things that you might find at downtown St. Petersburg or anywhere else that it's been going on for a while. So if you haven't been, please go and support it. The only way we can get more vendors to go, and all the vendors that were there this weekend were very pleased with the turnout and the sales that they got. If you know some other vendors that have some, there were also some ornamental plants there over the weekend and some fresh gourmet pastas that were there. So if you haven't been, please go this weekend, Friday and Saturday. If you know vendors that might want to come and set up, please encourage them to do so. The only way that we can grow something like this in downtown Sebring, I mean, this is 2 blocks from my office. The only way we can grow something like this in downtown Sebring is for you to come out, spend some money, support these guys, and buy fresh, buy local, because we all believe in supporting local businesses as much as we can. Sorry, my computer timed out, my other computer. So we've got some cool things, and I'm going to do some picture-in-picture, which is one of my fun things to do. So if you haven't been to the Sebring Farmers Market, please come on down, support it. You will not regret it, and get a fresh cup of Strangely Warmed coffee because it's awesome. You can even get a mug there. All right, number 2, this morning I woke up. Jessica and I get up and read. It was pretty funny, though, this morning. She was actually on a Zoom call at 5:30 with about, 15 or 20 other people. And the iPad was set up in the corner in the living room. So I get a cup of coffee and I sit down. And she's like, "It's okay. They can't see you." And I said, "Well, can they hear me?" And she's like, "No, they can't hear you." So we start talking, having a conversation. All of a sudden, I get a text from someone else on the call that says, "Hey, your thing's not muted. Everyone can hear you." So that was pretty funny. Great morning stuff. The other cool thing I read this morning on Facebook, sometimes you see some pretty cool things. One of my friends posted that she overheard her husband talking to their son last night about taxes. Those are my favorite bedtime stories. Dennis and Melanie, thank you. If you're not watching, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for sharing such a wonderful bedtime story. If nothing else, Piero had some great nightmares last night. I dream about taxes all the time. But anyway, that was great. Great story, Melanie. Thanks for sharing that this morning. All right, farmers market, dreaming about tax returns. Now I want to get into, it is tax season. We can process some tax returns. So I want to talk about a couple of things. The first thing I want to talk about is procedures in our office and how we're handling everything this year. We're really only changing anything if you, my customer, want us to change it. So today I've got a multitude of meetings today. I have a virtual meeting with one of my clients who lives in Gainesville today. I have an in-person meeting with one of my clients from Lake Placid this morning. So whatever we had a couple of phone meetings last week. Whatever you feel comfortable with here at Carlson Accounting, we'll make it work for us. We have obviously we have some video capabilities because we got the studio, but we can have We can have video calls. We can have phone conferences. We can do things through the mail. If you're not comfortable with mail, we don't really like taking, we're not really taking any email attachments for security reasons, which I've talked about in other shows, but we can set up one of our secure client portals for you. I just did that the other day for a couple of new clients to upload their stuff and a couple of old clients to upload their tax documents. So we are taking them in. You can do that however you want. You can call the office anytime, 863-382-4141, or you can schedule right on our webpage. Right at the top, there's one that's, I think it says schedule an appointment. I better pull that up just to check real quick. Schedule an appointment. You can do that right on our webpage. You can call anytime. That has my updated calendar in it. Yeah, appointments right at the top. You can schedule a voice, virtual. You can do all that online as well. So just let us know whatever works for you. We will work with you. We do not have mandatory masks in our office. If anyone wants to wear it, that's perfectly fine. We're happy for you to be as safe as you need to be, and you're welcome to do that. So anyway, you want to meet with us, drop your stuff off. We have a night drop box that's secure. You can drop your stuff right in the front door. We'll get it first thing in the morning, get it logged in, and get it processing. So that is kind of the procedures in our office. We do clean we've always done this because tax season is also typically flu season. So we've always wiped down everything after our meetings to make sure that if anyone did spread some germs, we limit that as much as possible. So come on by. We'd love to see you. I'm a hugger, so if you're one of my old-time clients, one of my new clients, if I just met you, don't be surprised. One of the first things I'm going to ask is, you a hugger? So that's some of the procedures at Carlson Accounting this year, and we'll adapt to you. The second thing I wanted to talk about, I think I just kicked the camera. Second thing I wanted to talk about was some of the questions that we ask when you bring your documents in. A lot of our returning clients like to just come in, talk to one of the team members and drop their stuff off. They don't schedule appointments unless they have something change or really need to sit down and talk to me. Either way is fine with me. I love meeting with my customers because without you, we wouldn't be here. So they like to drop their things off. And what I've done is that every year I tell them there's certain questions that we need to ask. We're not trying to dig into your personal life or ask for things that we don't need. These are real questions that I have to have. And sometimes I'm working on the tax return at 5 o'clock in the morning. I can't reach out and call you and ask you that question. So I try to get them as much as possible to ask the questions the things that I need to know when you bring your documents in. And I wanted to review a few of those because we've already gotten a little bit of pushback from a couple customers this year. And the first one, which is very timely, is the economic stimulus payments that everyone got this year. The $1,200 beginning of last year, the $600 this year. Those are numbers that we have to know. They're not taxable. You don't have to pay tax on them. But I want to show you real quick why we need to know this. Check me out. I'm the coolest. Look at me. Look at this down here. Wait. There. But it's actually over here. Anyway, so this is the current Form 1044 filing for tax year 2020. This may even change here in the next few weeks because electronic filing does not begin until April the 12th. Now, I can take your documents and we can prepare for you, but you might not, we won't actually be able to submit it to the IRS. So I just wanted you to see this form. I'm going to scroll down real quick. I was looking at the wrong monitor trying to scroll down. So this is all normal stuff with income and expense items. And the crazy thing is, and I hate this, they make this stuff more complicated every single year. So I just wanted to show you why we need to know this information. This is the second page of the form. And if you look down here on line 30, it says recovery rebate credit, line 30. And we need to put a number in there. I can even type one in there right now, so $1,200. So we need to know whether or not you got it because those numbers were advanced credits that were given to you in advance of filing your 2020 income tax return. So I need to be able to reconcile that with the IRS, and I need to be able to put it on your form so that we don't give you the credit again. Now, we're not sure right now if the IRS is going to be sending out a reporting form. I haven't seen anything that says they're going to do that, telling you that you got it. But for right now, we just need to know that so that we don't double count it for you on your tax return. So even if the IRS, if we do double count it, you come pick your tax return up, say tomorrow, and it says that you're going to get a $1,200 refund that you forgot you got or didn't know you. Hopefully you don't forget $1,200, but Maybe we didn't know about it. We filed the tax return without it. You think you're getting a $1,200 refund. The IRS kicks the return back, sends you multiple letters telling you, hey, you're not going to get the $1,200 because you already got it. We don't even know if they've got the software set up. We think that's why we're waiting until February 12th so that they have it set up and ready to go and everything's going to be accurate. But at a minimum, say they give you the $1,200, then a year or two from now, we're looking at dealing with letters from the IRS that we're trying to research, trying to figure out why, trying to backdate this stuff and figure out what's going on. So please, information that we need to know to make sure that we file a tax return that is as close as possible. One of the other things that we've had a lot of issues with obtaining over the last few years is this form. This is Form 1095A, and this is the form that you would get if you got your health insurance through the healthcare marketplace, and if when you filled that form out, you also got an advanced credit against those premiums. So for instance, if your premium was $1,000, but your income qualified you to get a $500 credit, then you're only paying $500 a month, and the IRS was giving you a credit for the other $500. We need to get this form because this form reconciles it. The first column there is, I know this probably isn't something you can really read, but the first column there is monthly enrollment, what the premiums would have been. The second one is a marker for the lowest cost health plan, but the third one, the first one and the third one are the important ones, because the third one, column C, tells us what that advanced credit was. And we have to reconcile that on your tax return as well. And it's very important that we get that right because that also created a lot of letters and a lot of extra work and a lot of heartache because nobody likes to get letters from the IRS. And we certainly don't want you to, and we don't want to deal with them at the end of the year. The third piece of it, I'm going to go through 4 pieces of information. The next one is your bank account information. This is very important if you're expecting to get a refund because we want to make sure that the account goes into the right place. I hate to blame things on computers, but you never know with a computer system what happens with those numbers and something goes wonky. Or your bank changed hands, which happens just about every year with several banks, and the routing numbers changed or your account number changed slightly. We try always to confirm your bank account information, and the Internal Revenue Service requires me to do that. So when we ask you for a copy of an updated check, it's for your protection, not really mine. I want to make sure that if you're due a refund, that refund goes in the proper account, and we want to confirm it, and we're supposed to confirm it and have to check off that we confirmed it before we file your tax return with the IRS. Just telling me nothing changed doesn't always work. If that happens, we'll probably print a form out and just make you initial it when you get your tax return to make sure that it's right. If for some reason we forget to ask, please double check that when you come to pick up your tax return just to make sure that number looks accurate. I also don't like to get that information via text or email. I really like to make a copy of one of your blank checks while you're in the office. So I have the real numbers, no chance of it getting interpolated or something missing or bank account information wrong, because IRS doesn't care. They don't match bank account number with a name associated with the account. They tell $2,000 to go to, forgot I was still on picture-in-picture. They send $2,000 to bank account X and have no idea whose bank account that is. So we want to make sure that it's accurate because they're just going to wire that money in. We have had that happen in the past with a couple of accounts over 25 years. I think it's happened 2 times. When those things do happen, it's kind of a hassle, but you are able to get it fixed. Going to take a quick sip of coffee. I feel like I'm talking super fast. I apologize if I am. The last piece of information that I can think of right now that I really like to have is whether or not you made estimated tax payments. Sometimes that information is, yeah, we paid all the ones that we were given. Sometimes that's right. Sometimes it's a little bit off. I really like to confirm that as well. And here's a couple of reasons. One, we want to make sure when your tax return's done that your refund or the amount that you owe is as accurate as possible. If we don't know the exact date and amount of the estimated tax payments you made, then those numbers won't be right. And here's the reason. There's a couple of reasons, but the estimated tax payments are due on particular dates: April 15th, June 15th, September 15th, January 15th. If you're 5 days late, there's 5 days worth of interest that they're going to want to charge you on that payment potentially. So we want to make sure we get the dates and amounts. If we calculated your estimated tax payments, then I give you 5 sheets of paper when you pick up your tax return. The first sheet wish I had one here, is for you to keep a record of those payments. And the next 5 sheets are copies of all of the coupons. For some reason, the software prints it on 4 different sheets of paper, but each of those coupons. So what you can do is slice that coupon off the bottom and make a record at the top of the first page on the date and the amount and the check number that you paid. That way, if there is ever a question, the IRS didn't process a payment right, you can go back. We can go back to that because I keep a scanned copy of it here. We can look it up. They can check it and make sure that it's accurate. All right, I think that does it for today with 4 things that we might ask you when you drop your tax return off. Next week, I think I'm going to do a little bit of, I might have my wife on next week. We might film this one in advance because I've got an idea for a cool show, and I think people like it when she's here because she's much better looking than me. So I wanted to thank you for joining us today. And one other thing, we're out of town most weekends, but we're out of town on most weekends, but First United Methodist Church in downtown Sebring has been having Coffee House Church on Saturday nights at 7 p.m. If you on a Saturday night and you need something fun and fulfilling to do, that's a great event. There's strangely warm coffee there. There's music and fellowship. It's a great thing to do. So 7 o'clock, First United Methodist Church, downtown Sebring. Don't forget Sebring Farmers Market week 2 starting Friday morning, 8 to 12. Dan, you can put that down in the comments if you don't mind, somewhere down here, and let us know. But I think it's 8 or 9 to 12 on Fridays and Saturdays. Great event, great time to come out. Thank you once again for joining me on Coffee with Carlson. We hope you have a fantastic week and enjoy. It looks like it's going to be a nice day outside. Enjoy your week and God bless. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you next time on Coffee with Carlson.